Yeah, baby, yeah. Yeah, baby, yeah. Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to tonight's live stream. My name is Mr. Finn. You obviously know that, huh? You're here. You clicked on the video, and I want to welcome you to tonight's show, tonight's episode, tonight's class, however you want to classify what this is. I am here once again to do my best to make you better, right? So, who am I? I think a lot of you who click on this video already know who I am, but this is for the future you. Whoever you are is going to watch this video in the future because I do save these videos on my channel. My name is Mr. Finn. I am an American born. I come from Los Angeles, California. Born and raised in America. I've lived in many places all over Southern California. I lived a little while in Arizona, the Phoenix area, not long, but a little while. And I lived for about 3 years in Carson City, Nevada, from about age 15 to 18. And then moved back home to SoCal, and just I've had a crazy life and upbringing. And I came out to Brazil in 2009. So this April 1st, I'm going to complete 12 years, right? So let me date this video, huh? Today's March 2nd, 2021, huh? So anyways, coming out to Brazil, I've been teaching English since 2010. When I came out here, I didn't really know what to do in the United States. I worked as an electrician. I worked in construction and stuff. And I'm the oldest of 4 boys. I was an actor as a child. And so like I said, growing up, I did construction for a long time. First electrical, and then I worked for a company that does low voltage systems, security access control, cameras, CCTV, fire life safety, things like that. And I was the hardware guy. I did the installations. I actually ran the crew. I was the foreman for installations. And interesting enough, that background, also a background of acting, kind of prepared me. It kind of made me ready to fill the shoes of a teacher. So when I came out to Brazil's a very different place than the United States. Those of you Brazilians who are watching this and have traveled abroad probably know this. But talking to people in America, man, there's nothing. The only thing that is different is like the commercial stuff, McDonald's and Coke, but there's nothing the same. And I'll give you a good example. In the United States, you can make a very good career. You can make a very good financial living in the trades. What are the trades? The trades are where you provide a service. So it's electrical, being an electrician, a plumber working with water, a mason worker, concrete, even locksmith. All of these trades make good money. Whereas here in Brazil, it's like a low class job, and the people in these fields, in these professions who do well, are the owners, they're business owners, the engineers and stuff. So so when I came out here in Brazil, I couldn't really get a job in my area, So what did I do? I started looking at the English schools, right? And I went to a bunch, and nobody was interested in me. There's Fisk, there's Wizard, there's where did I go? Centro de Linguas, right? The Language Center, many places. And then I went to a school called CCAA, and to my luck, the owner of the school was there when I showed up, and he interviewed me on the spot, and he asked me, when can I start? And I told him yesterday, because I just want to work. I like to work. I like to be productive. Those of you who know me know this. And that's how I got into teaching. And here we are 12 years later. I'm a 90% private teacher. I stayed at one school where my son studies, and I teach privately. And 2 years ago, I created English with Mr. Finn. If you look behind me, that was the first little character, because when I created it, I had a beard on. So in a nutshell, that's who I am. I am married to a beautiful Brazilian woman. We have 2 lovely children, small. My son's 4, my daughter's 2, and they are just spitting images of their parents. Full of energy, very stubborn, very tenacious. And well, hey, I guess they say when your kid's acting up to your parents, they say you're gonna reap what you sow. And I guess that's true. So in a nutshell, that's who I am. My name is Mr. Finn, and I am here to make you better English speakers, better communicators all the way around. My goal is not to help beginners. If you guys are beginners and you're not understanding me, I'm sorry. But I know a lot of people that can help you. My goal is to help those of you who are pre-intermediate, intermediate, all the way up to advanced, even native English speakers, to improve how you use the English language to conduct yourself, to communicate with others. We live in a world nowadays where everyone has to walk on eggshells in the words that they use because people are being offended all the time. Well, I don't agree with that. You can be honest, you can speak truth, and you don't have to be offensive. And you are not responsible. And this is like just a disclaimer, right? But think of it, you're not responsible for how other people get offended when you're not being offensive. And on the other side of that coin, when we're communicating with others, we have the responsibility as communicators to make sure that we're encoding the message in the way that the desired audience is supposed to take it. Now, what do I mean by that? I have experience teaching speech classes and preparing people how to give presentations and stuff. And one of the key factors in basically any situation, or when you are going to engage with other people, is you have to take in consideration audience and purpose. Okay, what does that mean? Who's the audience? Who are you speaking to? This will determine the language that you use, the body language that you use, the tone of voice that you use, all of these things. You're not going to speak the same. And think about this in your normal life. You're not going to speak the same way to your friends that you see on a regular basis as you would with a parent, a grandparent, a boss, a doctor, a priest, pastor. If you go to an event, a lot of my students are doctors and physicians and lawyers, and they go to conferences and stuff. So you are going to use different terms, words, mannerisms, phrases, depending on the audience that you're speaking to. So that's half of the first point. And then the second half is purpose. Why are you speaking? Are you speaking to convey information, to persuade someone, to convince someone, to chit chat, small talk? This also will determine the type of language that you use. Okay. So these things have to be taken into consideration. And this is what I aim to do with my channel. And that's why I don't really cater to beginners. I have taught beginners, and I have nothing wrong with teaching beginners, but in all honesty, I just don't have the patience anymore. It's a lot of work. I am not a person who believes in translating to teach the language. I believe to understand, to learn the language, you need to immerse yourself in the language. This is how I learned Portuguese. I consider myself fluent in Portuguese. I do have a couple of YouTube videos, all in Portuguese for my lovely Brazilian audience. And nobody taught me. I was immersed here. This was before smart TVs. This is when smartphones were barely becoming popular, right? 2009. I mean, it's not that long ago, but if you think about it, it kind of is. And so I learned by watching TV and not being shy. And to my advantage, I'm not shy by nature. And this goes back to my experience as an actor and stuff and things like that. So tonight, this is my second live. Let me see who's in the comments here. Okay. Hey, Shakil, good to see you. Nice. Pakistan, welcome. Welcome to the show. Leave questions and stuff in the comments. I will take a look at them later. Right now, I want to focus on what I want to talk about. And I guarantee towards the end, I will both answer any questions, and I will share the link of this live stream if anybody is interested in joining me and talking and practicing your English, right? It's really good to get yourself out there. If you guys ever watch my tongue twister videos, that's one of the things I encourage. I tell you guys, hey, record yourself, post it in your stories, tag me. I'm not saying tag me because, hey, I want to be like, show me. No, but I want to promote you, and I want to see that you're trying, and I want to help. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to give you guys a hand. Now, tonight, this is my second live stream, and I wanted to get into a topic that I believe that many people need help in, not just in English. Get some water here. Not just in English, but even in their own native languages. And that topic, it's in the title of the video, but how to start a conversation. Okay, excuse me. So the main topic I want to get into tonight is how to start a conversation. And not just how to start a conversation, but how to maintain a conversation. Because it's one thing to get it going. It's one thing to get a conversation moving, but it's another thing to try to keep it on track, right? And what do I mean by that? You think of a train. A train is a big machine. A train moves. A train, it's a big piece of machinery. And if you ever seen a train, it takes a while to get it going, to get it moving. Hey, Marty, good to see you, buddy. Marty's in the chat. Nut shots. If you guys are interested in learning the do's and don'ts of dating apps, check out Nutshot's YouTube channel. It's really good stuff. I'll put a link in the description. Anyways, back to what I was talking about, right? Think about a train. A train is a big piece of machinery, very heavy, and it takes a lot for it to get moving. It takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of energy. But once you have momentum, it goes smoothly. But it's crucial. It's imperative. It's important to keep it on track, right? It's super dangerous. We've seen this many times in the news and in movies when a train derails, when it goes off the track, and then there's disaster. So I want to use that same kind of metaphor, right? Euphemism, talking about conversations. It's hard to get them started for many, many people. I believe statistically, and I should have looked up this data, but I remember when I taught speech classes that, at least in the United States, public speaking is the most terrifying thing for the majority of people. Like people are more afraid of speaking in public than they are of death, snakes, spiders, roaches, whatever. I can understand this, but I don't get it. Oh, what do you mean, Mr. Finn? Well, I mean, I could understand why. I don't get it because it's not in my nature. And now I understand. You're like, well, Mr. Finn, you're going to teach me how to converse. You're going to teach me how to make a conversation and stuff. But I mean, it's easy for you. It's natural. Okay, yeah, it is. It's not hard for me. And just because it's natural for me doesn't mean that you can't learn, that you can't practice or implement the things that I want to share with you. So it's interesting. You look at people in a competition. There's a good saying. It says there's the ones who are natural, and there are the ones who are prepared. And most often, it's the ones who are prepared who win. And what does that mean? Just because I'm a natural, it doesn't mean that I'm the best. And I'm not even claiming that I'm the best. I just want to help you break that barrier, overcome that hurdle, because I look at shyness as almost like a sickness. Like, think about it. Those of you who are shy, and I'm not shaming you. Actually, my heart goes out to you. How many opportunities have you lost just because, you were shy, you were scared? I can't relate. So my objective today is to kind of give you some points, kind of teach you the things that you can do to start a conversation maintain a conversation, appropriate things you could ask, and some taboo things you shouldn't ask. Okay. Forgive me if there's any noise from the outside. Where I live in Brazil, it's not I'm in the jungle, baby. So you got sometimes a lot of noise, even at night. Anyways, I don't want to get off track. So that's what I want to do tonight. I want to kind of give you some pointers, give you guys some tips to help you break the ice, to help you enjoy yourself in social settings. And I know we don't have a lot of social settings anymore, right? COVID has ruined everything. Well, screw that. You can still interact. Get your face out of your phone. Not now. If you're using your phone, stay on it with me now. But I mean, in social situations, if you go to a restaurant, don't put your phone aside, man. When you're hanging out with friends, it drives me crazy. You see couples, you see people out hanging out together, and they got their faces in their phones. My goodness, engage with one another. So what I want to do is I want to help you guys do this. I'm going to give you some pointers, some tips on how to start a conversation, how to maintain a conversation. And for those of you who are English learners, kind of help you guys out and teach you guys how to make questions and, get in this topic. All right. Maybe halfway or towards the end of the stream, I'll throw the link in the description, in the chat. If anybody's wanting to jump on with me and practice, feel free to come on in. Right. Deborah, that's sweet. I got to show that. That's my sweet, my student. Love you, Deborah. Love you. Okay, good. So let's do this. Let's get started. All right. Now, how do you start a conversation? It's tough. The first thing that you need to do, and I'm not saying it's easy, I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but you need to have confidence. Okay? This is crucial. A lot of people, both men and women, right, guys and girls, a lot of people are very insecure in their looks. And this plus maybe other things, they doubt themselves. They don't have the confidence they need to take the first step, to put yourself out there. Because thinking about it, when you try to start a conversation, when you're breaking the ice, when you're exposing yourself, you're leaving yourself vulnerable for what? Rejection, ridicule, humiliation. Yeah, I admit that. I this is what I mean. I understand shyness. I don't get it. Why? Well, because that stuff doesn't bother me. I have confidence. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. My wife, God bless her, when we first met, I'll never forget it. It was like the middle of the night, June 25th, 2014. Yeah. And I was at a vigil at the church I'm a member of, and it was a coffee break. And we met. And I think without even 5 minutes of meeting, she looked at me, she's like, "You're conceited." And I looked at her, I said, "No, I'm not. I'm confident, and don't confuse the two." And I think a lot of people do. Why? Well, because they do share some attributes. They kind of share some similarities, right? But to be conceited means that you're full of yourself, that you, it's almost like you're arrogant. You think you're better than other people. And confidence, you don't care what other people think, really. I mean, there are some people like myself. There are some people I do care about. Like, I do care what their opinions are of me. My brothers in the fraternity I'm in, I really care what they think of me. My family at my home, my brothers, my mother. But outside of them, I can even think of some friends. Like, I want them to like me, but to be honest, and no offense to any of you guys who are my friends, I am who I am, and this attitude, I believe, can come across as being conceited, arrogant. But I want to reassure you that I'm not. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. But I do think I am good at what I do. I do have trust, or you know what? Let's define this. Let me look really quick. It's really important to define words because words have meaning. So what do I mean by confidence? Let me look at the dictionary really quick. Okay, so number one definition: full trust, Belief in the powers, trustworthiness, or reliability of a person or thing. Okay, so I have full trust in myself. I believe in my powers. What does that mean? Like what I'm able to do. At my age, I've learned my weaknesses. I know what I'm not good at. I know I'm trustworthy. I know I'm reliable. And those people who know me know this. So number one definition fits. Let's look at the second definition. Belief in oneself and one's powers and abilities, self-confidence, self-reliance, and assurance. I have all that. I've been homeless. I've been hungry, but I've never not worked, and I've never not, I don't know, kicked a butt, I guess you can say. So there's 7 definitions, but just looking at the first 2, it fits. You see, it fits. Confidence. And that's what I believe is the first or number one thing a person needs when you want to start a conversation. And to be honest, try anything new. You need to have confidence. You need to know what you're doing, who you are, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. Know yourself. I think of the Matrix. So there's a line in the Matrix, right? Know thyself. Know yourself. Know who you are. Now, some of you who are younger, okay, you don't know yet, and that's fine. It depends, right? Everybody's different. Everybody learns different times, but this should be a priority. If you want to develop confidence, first kind of know who you are and what it is that you do. Hey, Glay's here, looking at the chat really quick. How you doing, Glay? It's another student of mine. Awesome guy. I really appreciate it. There's my buddy, Nutshot. Thanks, man. Enjoy it. I hope I entertain your ride. Huerton, that's my friend, Huerton. Love the guy. Good. I'm glad you're here, guys. I'm glad you're here. I'm not going to be paying too much attention to the chat. I will jump back in and out. I want to make sure I stay on track of what I'm talking about here because my aim is to help. So, first key, confidence. Now, you can say, Mr. Finn, okay, I understand. I'm going to need confidence, but I don't have it. I'm shy. I don't know what to do. So the first thing that I want to say is, okay, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? What is the worst thing that can happen if you put yourself out there? All right, someone makes fun of you. Okay, whatever. Who are they? Like, what is there? Why do you put their opinion on such a high pedestal that it should affect who you are? I'll give you an example. And I feel so bad for my poor wife sometimes because we'll go somewhere to eat. And like I said, I don't really care what people really think. In Brazil, people don't touch the food with their hands. It's funny. We Americans, right? We like to eat spare ribs with our hands and pizza with our hands and chicken drumsticks with our hands. But the Brazilians, when it comes to eating, they're very educated, proper, fork and knife. I mean, everything, pizza and even bacon. It's crazy. So we go out to eat and I dig into my food. Anyone who knows me knows I love to just eat delicious food, spare ribs and pizza and barbecue and whatever, right? And I pick it up and I eat it. And I embarrass my wife. I embarrass her, poor thing. And I don't do it on purpose, but I see her sometimes kind of like crawl into herself. She's like, my love, there people are looking at us. And I'm like, and am I going to pay the bill with their opinions? Like, you see, so, I mean, that's the point. That's the point. It's like, I don't want to embarrass my wife. I of course I'm a public figure. I'm putting myself out there. So, I mean, I don't want people not to like me, but in the end of the day, whatever. It's not going to pay my bills. It's not going to put food in my fridge. It's not going to take care of my family. What I do in how I live my life and how I lead my family is taking care of all that. In your opinion, whatever. I mean, you got to be really tight in my circle for your opinion to care or carry that much weight for me, right? And okay, now I don't want to sound, I think I'm starting to sound conceited or arrogant. I'm not. I'm just showing you, to me, yeah, look at my friend Diogenes here. Boom, right? That's right. And it is, right? Look at my sweetheart, Deborah. We aren't polite. Well, Brazilians are an interesting group of people. I love Brazilians. They're some of the warmest people in the world, but nosy people. They care too much about other people's business, gossip and stuff. It's true. And they're very polite when it comes to eating. But I'm not here to bash on Brazilians. I love Brazilians. Brazilians have taken care of me. What I want to do is help you guys with conversations and the steps to get to making conversations and keeping conversations. So confidence, right? Back to confidence. Now, Mr. Finn, okay, I understand. Don't care what people think. So I have a few notes here. About some things you can do that can help you develop confidence. One of the first things, excuse me, one of the first things on my notes is get things done. Simple, right? Don't be a type of person who sets out to do one thing, but then stops to start another thing, and then stops and then do another thing, and then stops and do. No, get things done. If you start something, finish it. I remember one of the things my father used to say to me: "Do as you say and say what you no. Do what you say and say what you do." And that's right. Confidence is built on accomplishment. It's built on achievements, things you achieve. Right? Small goals, big goals. You're going to feel much better about yourself. It begins right with your day-to-day goals. What you need to accomplish today and every day this week, or in 3 days of this week, right? Do what it takes to meet your goals. Set yourself goals, and goals are a real important thing in life. Set small goals, set medium goals, and set long-term goals. Now, these long-term goals, it's not necessary to know how you're going to get there exactly. I think about, I'm come from Los Angeles. So let's say it is possible to drive from Los Angeles to New York at night. You don't need to see New York, but all you need to see is the first 200 feet in front of you, right? You turn on your headlights, and the first 200 feet, get there. Next 200 feet, get there. So you see, get things done. Now, if this is difficult for you to do, okay, don't set yourself such goals that are hard to achieve. Work on small ones first. Set yourself small goals like, okay, today I'm going to read this chapter, or today I'm going to knock out that pile of laundry or something, But once you achieve these little goals, you will start to feel better. And this is a step towards confidence. Now, if you set goals, you should monitor your progress. And this is more for like bigger goals, right? One of the best ways to reach those huge goals, whether they be big or small, is to break them down. And I'm thinking mainly of the big ones, but break them down into smaller goals. So like I said, that example of driving to New York at night, you don't need to see the whole map, the whole distance. All you really need to see is those first 200 feet in front of you, and then the next, and then the next. So break it down into small segments, small pieces, and monitor yourself. Give yourself deadlines. You'd be amazed on how a deadline will motivate you to attack it. Think about life when it comes to a test, an assignment, a project at work. When you have a deadline, man, sometimes you may procrastinate, but getting close to that deadline, you start hitting it hard. So building off of the first step of setting goals, monitor your progress, right? Break the goal down into segments and monitor that progress, right? And the next thing I want to bridge off of that, the next step, and I have a lot of issues living in Brazil with this next step, is do the right thing. You'd be surprised that doing the right thing is usually the hardest thing to do. It's very easy to cheat on your taxes, on your diet, on your partner, on yourself, but don't do it. Don't do it. Set yourself goals. Keep track of your progress, right? But then do what's right, right? So, like, I believe most confident people, they live with a value system, right? Convictions. I have them, and anyone who knows me knows I have convictions. I have on many occasions had myself in a situation where a lot of people did not agree with what I said, but I earned their respect and I didn't back down. I stood my ground because I live by values and convictions. And this keeps me from getting off track, derailing myself. And You know what's funny? I could sleep well at night. I sleep well at night. My wife can attest to that. I pass out. I don't have a guilty conscience. So I don't know if this is a difficult thing for you living in Brazil. And this, like I said, this is no criticism on Brazilians, but as a whole, and those Brazilians who are watching, I think you can relate. You don't always do the right thing. You do the easy thing. You say in Portuguese, you say o jeitinho brasileiro, right? It's like the Brazilian way. It's not always. I'll give you one quick example, then I'll move on. Here in Brazil, you have preferential service. So supermarkets and anywhere there's a line, you have a preferential line where if you're older, like 60 or 65 years or older, or if you're pregnant and have a baby, like a little baby in your hand, you qualify to go on the preferential line. I understand this. I do. I understand this because if you're old, it's hard. If you have a baby, it's hard. Trust me, I got two. It's hard. But people take advantage of this. You see some 65-year-olds that are really healthy. They don't need to be in that line. And one time when my son was a baby, he was a couple of months old, maybe, I don't know, 10 months, say whatever. And I went to a shop and I was in the normal line. He was in my arms. And some lady said, why don't you go to the preferential line? I think it was an employee of the store. And I said, no, I'm not preferential. Like, I don't need the preference. She's like, oh, but you have the baby. I said, no, he's not preferential either. He doesn't need the preference either. He's like, but you have the right. I said, oh, I know, but is it right? And you see, and I'm not trying to brag. I just want to give you an example. Just because I have the right doesn't always make it right. Why? Maybe someone else actually needs it. Maybe there's a little old woman who has a hard time standing. Maybe there's a pregnant woman who's 9 months and about to pop. She needs it. They're preferential. Let them go first. I'm a man. I'm a young man, quote unquote. I feel young, but I'm a strong guy. I could hold my kid. It's no problem. His crying is not going to bother me. My wife says, oh, what about the other people? Whatever. They have to understand he's a baby. So anyways, that gets back to my point. Like, just do the right thing. Don't do the easy thing. Do the right thing. And you'll be amazed on just how much better you'll feel. So if you do not have a code, a moral code, a value system, find one. If you want some help to create one, hit me up. You can always leave me a message, leave a comment in this video after I share it or save it. You can always reach me on Instagram, but have a value system. It's really, really important. You'd be amazed on the trouble it'll save you from, honestly. Okay, so let me go through this quickly. I don't want to take too long. So I think that was number 4, right? Let me go back to my notes. That was number 3, do the right thing. Number 4, exercise. We, especially nowadays, man, this lockdown, this coof, right? This situation that the governments are forcing us to stay indoors. Well, do something physical. Get off your butt, man. Walk around. I was doing really well for almost a year now. Only recently it's been harder. But I wake up early, 4 a.m., 4:30, maybe 5. And I get out, I go walking every morning. I do a set of push-ups every morning. I'll say almost every morning. Sometimes I get too busy. But I make it a habit to do something physical because one, it's going to help you stay physically healthy. It's going to help get the blood flowing. But 2, once you start to feel better and get physically healthy, you're going to start to be mentally healthy. You're going to feel good about yourself. So exercise is crucial, right? Besides, these benefits in general, right? It helps with memory. I have notes here. Memory retention, improves focus, helps manage stress, prevents depression. It's harder to be anxious when there is no. Okay, hold on. Let me get my notes. It's harder to be anxious when there is no excess energy to draw upon, right? So if you exhaust yourself, it's hard to be anxious, right? Because I don't think people realize how much energy it takes to worry, to stress. Okay, my notes are making sense now. But it's really good. And, outside of being difficult and uncomfortable at times, exercise improves your, every aspect of your life, right? So it's really important to stay active and make time for yourself. And that's why people ask me, like, Mr. Finn, why do you wake up so early? It's time for myself. It's time for myself. I have 2 kids. I have a wife. I have lots of students, lots of work. I'm an aspiring YouTuber. You guys have no idea how much work it takes to create content. And I think it was like May of last year. I was just like, I was burning out. And I made a decision. I forgot. I heard it somewhere, but it's like, wake up early. And I started doing that. And I made it. It turned into discipline because sometimes you don't feel like it, but wake up early. And I have at least 2 hours, 3 hours to myself. Exercise. I take care of myself. And that's amazing. Because once I'm okay, then I'm better, not only for myself, but for everybody else, for my family, for you guys, for my students. So exercise is important. Great. Let's move on. I want to be quicker here. Be fearless. Okay, what does this mean to be fearless? Well, take risks. I talked about having a value system. I talked about having goals. Well, guess what? Some people are going to laugh at you. So that is an unattainable goal. You're never going to achieve that. Well, you should look at them and say, well, who are you to determine what I'm going to achieve or where I'm going to go? Guess what? To step up to someone like that takes courage. It does. It doesn't mean brave. It takes courage. What's the difference between brave and courage? Brave means you just don't have fear. Courage means you do what's right in the face of fear. You see, it comes from Latin cora, heart, courage. So, failing isn't your enemy, right? It's fear. It's fearing failure that truly cripples you. I'm reading from my notes here. Set big goals and you have big dreams. You're going to feel overwhelmed. And you're inevitably going to feel like you can't do it. And in those moments, you have to look inside yourself, gather every ounce of courage you have, and just keep going. Every single wildly successful person has been afraid, and they've kept working and taking risks anyways, because what they're trying to accomplish is more important and urgent than their fear they will fail. So think about how much you want to achieve your goal, then put your fear to the side and keep going, and one day at a time. So you got to be fearless. You got to take risks. There's no, without risk, there's no reward. Now, I'm not saying be impulsive and stupid. I'm saying take calculated risks. Think about it, plan it out, look at your goal, but don't let people discourage you. And what's interesting, this is going to go to my next point on how to develop and build confidence. Point number 6, stand up for yourself, right? When your goal, when your project, whatever you're doing, etc., is in its early stages, when people look at you, Michael, your YouTube channel is never going to work. Oh, what are you doing? You're not going to, okay, whatever. When someone says your goal is stupid or that you can't do it, sometimes it's tempting to believe them. I'm not speaking from experience, but many people are like this, right? Because they're joining the choir of doubts inside yourself, your head, okay? Stop it. Stand up for yourselves. And this goes back to know thyself. Know what your strengths are. Know what you're capable of. Know what you want and work towards it. That's really important. Stand up for yourself. I'm not saying be a bully. I'm not saying hurt people's feelings. Don't allow people's criticism to affect you. And just use it as fuel. That's what I do. When people say you can't do it, I say, all right, that's what you think. You'll see one day. We'll see how's the last laugh. Anyways, so that's it. Another thing that's important, point number 7, follow through. Follow through. This goes back to what I said, what my dad used to say. Do what you say what you do. I have 2 children. If I say I'm going to do something, I got to do it. People respect people when they say they're going to do something and they do it. I'm going to talk bad about Brazilians again, and I don't want to be mean, but I don't know how many times people here say they're going to do something and they don't do it. They say they're going to help you out and they don't show up. And I just don't ask for help anymore, really. Unless I really know a person or they're a friend. Don't be that person. If you can't do it, don't promise you're going to do it. If you think it's not in you, don't try it. Don't try it. Okay? Don't try it. I think I'm here, right? Be yourself. So follow through in what you say. Follow through in what you plan. It's really important. More importantly than people having respect for you to do this, you will respect yourself if you say you're going to do something and you do it. And belief in yourself will come easier because you know you're not afraid of the work. Action gives your words meaning, and it will help you pave the path to accomplishing your goals, strengthening your relationships, and feeling proud of who you are. And I'm telling you guys, that is key. That is so true. So follow through. Do what you say what you do. My mom used to say, actions speak louder than words. You can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? Right? I mean, I can throw cliche after cliche, but there's truth in these cliches. All right, let me hit up these last three here. Number 8, think long term. Now, so remember some of the first points I touched on: setting goals, monitoring your progress, things like this. So think long term. So the foundation of unhappiness is decisions made in short-term comfort, right? So you don't think about the long term, and sometimes people are afraid of the struggle or the hardships, and then they don't do it. My wife, she's often said, "You're doing too much. You're investing too much energy and time on these projects, your YouTube channel." And she's right. I make an effort 3, 4, 5 times a day when I have a break to spend time with them. I take a break, go downstairs with the kids, but I do invest a lot. But her sweet little heart, she's thinking short term. I'm thinking long term. Why? Because the content that I'm creating, in the way I see it, it's timeless. It's not current events. It's not news. It's not fads, fashions. They're things that will probably only change within a century to a millennia. Why do I say that? Well, language does change. It does evolve and adapt. We don't use the same English that was used in the 1400s, right? In the 15th century, Shakespearean times. It's not the same English. So yes, but by that time, who cares, right? So at least in my lifetime, my children's lifetime, my grandchildren's, and probably, hopefully, if the world doesn't burn or kill itself or implode, my great-grandchildren's lifetime, the content that I'm creating is quote unquote timeless. So when my wife is thinking that I'm overextending myself or doing too much, I understand her point of view. I'm not getting anything from this, not yet, and I'm not asking anything from you guys. I want to help you guys out in general, but I want to, in the future, get compensation through the system, monetization, things like this. I have private students, and I think many of them are seeing this or have jumped on. I love you all, and you know it, but they get personal attention. They get one-on-one classes. This here is to help you guys in general. I'm willing to help you if you reach out. I'll give you tips. But what I'm doing here is for the long run, and I'm looking long term. And that is what keeps me on track. And my wife is not trying to discourage me. She's in her point of view, is just looking out for me, taking care of me. So let me move on. So I'm taking too much time talking about confidence. All right. Number 9, I've already said this and I was jumping ahead of myself, but don't care what others think. Don't care about it. Who cares what is going on with them? There's no point. Don't care. Forget about it. They're not going to pay your bills. They're not going to take care of you. You understand? I mean, it's hard. I understand. We want to be liked, especially nowadays with social media. We want the likes and the thumbnails, or not the thumbs. I'm sorry, not the thumbnails, but we want the thumbs up. We want whatever. We don't want people to say bad things about you. Whatever. That's the attitude you have to have. I don't want it. Seriously, I don't want anybody to talk bad about me. But if they do, it is what it is. It's not going to change my day. Like I said before, it doesn't pay my bills. It doesn't feed my family, right? It doesn't provide lights. So that's a big one. And I probably emphasize it a bit, but that's a big one. And then the last one, number 10, do more of what makes you happy. What do you love to do in your spare time? Is it to go get out? Is it to go outside, hike, kayak? Do you enjoy the outdoors like I do? Or do you like, do you live for like lying on the couch and watching TV, binging out on a series, reading a book, whatever it is, do it. Set some time to do it. Like, I'm not saying, like, I'm not a big TV watcher. There's some shows that I maybe will watch, but I'm not a big TV watcher. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying you shouldn't spend a lot of time doing it. I prefer reading books, and I like YouTube videos. I like to grow. I like to learn things, even in my spare time. But whatever it is you enjoy to do, set aside time to do it, because it's not always go, 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 yeah, do it, work. No, it's not always. Take some time, chill out, and breathe a little. Enjoy life. Life is short. Life is short. I can't believe I've been here nearly 12 years now. So do set yourself time to enjoy life, right? So these are my tips to build confidence. Okay. Now I want to move on to not just build confidence. That's half, I think, of what's going to help you to start conversations. Another thing that's going to help you start conversations is charisma. Be charming, right? And you're like, well, Mr. Finn, isn't that the same as confidence? No, it's not the same as confidence. But I think it's easier for confident people to have charisma than vice versa. Does that make sense? What does it mean to have charm, to have charisma, or to be charming? It means that people like being around you. Like, people don't always like to be around confident people because, like I said, sometimes confident people look like they're arrogant people. But a charming person is a person who people like to be around. And so how do you do that? Well, first of all, be positive, all right? Smile. You'd be amazed at how contagious a smile is. I've done it. You go around, walk. I'm telling you, test it. Go out and you're at the supermarket or something, or walking on the street. If someone makes eye contact with you with, like, wow, that's like a something very rare nowadays. But if someone makes eye contact with you, smile. And don't smile with just your mouth. A smile, a genuine smile, is in the eyes. It's in the voice. You can hear it. I tell you, I bet you if you pay attention, you can hear when someone's smiling on the phone. Smile. This is the first steps of having charm, being charming, having charisma. Okay. So this is a segue into starting conversations, right? So first you got to be confident, because you got to get out there. You got to put yourself out there. You're going to be vulnerable for ridicule, shame, laughing at you. You got to take it. Take them arrows and whatever, brush them off. But then you got to be charming. And how do you do this? Well, first, when you're engaging with people, listen. You must listen. Listen way more than you talk. My mother has said God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen more. So when you're talking with people, ask questions. This is how you do conversations. Hey, introduce yourself. Hi, how you doing? My name is Michael. What's your name? And they introduce themselves, whether they be a guy, whether they be a girl. They'll introduce themselves after you introduce yourself. And then start asking questions. And this is how you do it. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get into the questions tonight. I don't want this to be a very long video. I might divide this topic into two different videos. But ask questions. And that's how you do it. And you have to ask the right kinds of questions. You have to ask open questions, not closed questions. And you'd be like, well, what's the difference? Open questions are using question words: who, what, where, when, why, and how. And why do I say use open questions? Because the questions you ask, the answers you're going to be given will vary. It could be anything. And on contrary, if you ask closed questions, you're setting yourself up for disaster. Okay, so you've started a conversation. You've approached a group. You've approached a lady that you like, that you find attractive, and you introduce yourself. Have a smile. Hey, how's it going? My name is Michael. What's your name? and she or he or they introduce themselves and immediately ask a question. You know, make eye contact, smile, nod, frown. I mean, give signs in response to when they're talking. Do not be the type of person who's not listening and just waiting for their turn to talk. I hate it. Oh my goodness. I don't know how many times that happens. And okay, this doesn't necessarily happen when you're starting conversation. This usually happens when you're like in a debate, when you're talking about something heavy. It's happened to me many times. Some of my students have seen me do this before, but I always listen to the other person. Why? Because in listening, you're going to collect information to create more questions. And if you're just waiting for your turn to talk, because if you just have like a list of questions you're going to ask, and it's like, okay, I'm going to go through and this is going for nervous people, because nervous people, they just want to talk, blah, blah, they talk. And then they start wondering why it doesn't work. Okay, slow down, be confident, smile, slow down, ask open questions. Hey, so what do you like to do? Oh, I've never really seen you here. I come to this place very often. I've never seen you here before. Have you been? Is this your first time? Oh, really? And you just listen to the response. If they've been there before, okay, so wow, great. How often do you come? It depends. Every case, and I have a series of questions we can get into later about this. And like I said, I might do this in another video. But listening more than you talk is very good in establishing charm, charisma, because people, I think especially nowadays, want to talk about themselves. So in this point of listening, don't practice like selective listening. I'm not going to name any people. I don't know how many times I've talked to people, and I really do try to calculate what I'm going to say. Like I really do and especially if it's something serious, I really pause, and I kind of just, I think back, and I really remember, it goes back to audience and purpose. Who am I talking to? Why am I talking? And I really try to encode a message where it will not, there's no confusion or question in its decoding, right? When someone deciphers my message. But I kid you not, I don't know how many times a person who I'm discussing with is either probably upset and they're not thinking clearly, and they will only hear like 2 things out of everything I said. That's horrible, right? Some people, right? I guarantee if you like this, are incapable of hearing anything said by people they feel are somehow beneath them, or they're just so emotionally upset, they're just not going to listen. Sure, you speak to them and you talk to them, but that particular falling tree, right, doesn't make a sound in the forest because there's no one who's listening. And you can see it in their eyes. They're not giving you those signals. You're seeing them just waiting for their turn. So don't be that person. Okay. I believe incredibly charismatic people listen closely to everyone, and they make all of us, everyone, regardless of that person's position or who they're talking to position, social status, feel like that they're less than or superior to, no, that we have something in common. Right? We should do that too. We're all human, and I try to treat everybody equally. I treat everybody the same. Now, there's some people I look at with some like admiration, but still, you got to treat everybody the same. So be a good listener and don't practice selective listening, right? Make it about the other person. All right, I'm going to make this point 3. Always put your stuff away. Don't check your phone. Don't look at your watch. Don't look at a monitor or screen. Don't focus on anything else except for the person you're talking to. Really make them the center of your attention at that moment. And I'm not talking about romance. You're on a date or something. No, I'm talking about in general, with your friends, with So you're in a business, you're in a meeting, give that person your attention. How many times have you talked to someone, they grab their phone, they look at their watch? It's like, the first thing I'm thinking is, what the hell? Am I boring you? I mean, seriously? So don't be that person, okay? You can never connect with others if you're busy connecting to other stuff, other things. And I know that it's really hard nowadays. I know. But you really got to put yourself in check. If it's a temptation for you, turn on your phone off, take your watch off. I mean, and this goes back to my argument when I was talking about confidence, about know yourself, know your weaknesses, know the things that bring you down or that are hurdles in your life. Be preventative. As a father, my son, he's autistic and he's got these triggers, right? And I know certain things that when I do them, it's going to trigger him. So I try to prevent them. I try to anticipate them, and you have to do the same thing. If you're going to be in a situation, if you want to practice confidence, if you want to establish charisma and work on this, put these things into practice. I guarantee you they will work. Okay. So put your stuff away and give the person you're talking to attention. Point number 4, always give before you receive, and knowing you may not receive ever, right? Never think about what you're going to get. Focus on what you can provide. Giving is the only way to establish a real connection and relationship. And I have been growing nice and steadily on my YouTube channel, and I appreciate every single one of you. I really do this. I do this for you. I'm not getting anything in return. And that's okay. That's okay. I do love what I do. And I'm not bragging here. I am putting myself, or I am making myself an example. As a teacher, I've been teaching right now for about 11 years. I have noticed some of the best examples are the examples I use from my personal life. Why? Well, because they're real. You can look at me and you can hear me. And it's not a fairy tale or a story or I'm reading or it's hearsay from someone else. No. So do these things. Be generous. And I tell you, man, people are going to love to be around you. They're going to love it because you're giving positivity. You're giving attention. You're giving them your time. And boy, can I tell you how valuable that is. Time, man, it's the most valuable, other than your soul, which I'm not going to get into theology tonight, but other than your soul, your time is your most valuable commodity, because everything else in life comes and goes. Your health comes and goes, relationships comes and goes, opportunities come and go, jobs come and go, projects come and go, but time only goes. And as a father, I know I'm a busy guy, but like I said, I try to make time for my kids 3, 4, 5 times a day. Some days it's easier than others, but every day I make an effort. I'll go outside in the backyard and I'll just run with them. My little kid, my little daughter, 2 years old, call he daddy, run daddy, run. And I just chase after them. And I spend a good solid 10 minutes with them. It's only them. And then I give them a kiss. I say, guys, I'll be back later. I don't say bye. I don't say I have to go. I just say, I'll be back later. Okay. And I go back to work. And so time is really important. So when I'm talking about giving things, I'm not talking about buying gifts. I'm not talking about paying for dinners or things like this. No, I'm talking about giving your attention, giving your positivity, giving your time, right? And I think people really appreciate that. Point 5, don't act self-important. All right. Don't act self-important. Don't put yourself on a pedestal and all powerful, almighty, right? The only people who are impressed by your stuffy, pretentious, self-important self are other stuffy, pretentious people who are like that. You know, the rest, they're really not impressed. You know, we're irritated and put off and uncomfortable about people like this. And this goes to like complaining. Don't complain. I mean, seriously, everyone's got problems. I mean, keep that to a minimum of like 1 or 2 people like that you can trust. I mean, it's important to get it out, but Seriously. I think it's funny. I think people look at me and it's like, oh man, Mr. Finn, he's got the life. He's a happy guy. You have no idea the problems I've got. You got no idea the struggles I've got, but they're mine, not yours. And I don't air my problems. And that's the same kind of idea. You don't need to brag. No one likes a braggart. You don't need to puff yourself up. You don't need to talk about all your accomplishments. Let the proof be in the pudding. Let people see your life. Let people see the transformation in your life and see, man, this guy, he's someone I should be hanging around with, or I should be maybe taking examples from. That's what you do. You don't need to proclaim it. An orange tree doesn't say, hey, oranges, oranges. No, the fruit's there. You get what I'm saying? So don't do it. Don't act self-important. Don't think you're better and more important than anybody else. I hate that. I hate that. Dude, what's up? How you doing? My name is Mike. What's your name? As far as I we're on even footing. I don't care if you're a multimillionaire. All right. I've been homeless 3 times and I'm just an English teacher, but whatever. I'm successful. And that's another argument, how we measure success, but I'll leave that for another time. All right. So don't act self-important. Don't think you're better than anybody else. Keep it aside and focus on the other person. Number 6, since you know other people are more important, right? Since you know other people are more important, right? What? You already know what you know. You know your opinions. You know your perspectives and point of view. That stuff isn't important because you already know yours, right? It's yours. And you can't learn anything from yourself. But you don't know what other people know. And you'd be impressed on the things that people can teach you. And from the strangest places. I mean, my kids, they're kids. They know nothing in life. They're learning, but I learn from them. It's amazing. So give people attention. Get from them. You're giving, but you're getting. And with that note, shine the spotlight on other people. No one receives enough praise, right? No one. Tell people what they did well. Compliment them. Make them feel good. You see? It makes them feel good. It makes them want to be around you. Don't make it about you. Make it about them. Shine light on them. Wow, this person was working on this project. Wow, this person did that. I try to do that on my social, like Instagram and stuff. I try to help out and point out and work with other teachers. I don't care. Like people, unfortunately, people here, it's like dog eat dog, right? They don't want to help because they're afraid of losing business or students, whatever. I mean, there's enough for everybody. You just help out. And so do that. Shine light on other people. Okay, I'm going to touch these last 3, and let's try to kind of wrap this up. I don't want this to go too long, and I have a tendency to ramble. Number 8, choose your attitude and your words. I've kind of already hinted to this, right? The words you use affects the attitude of others, and it affects you as well. So words are like arrows. Once you release them, there's no taking them back. So this is really important to be able to do this, to have that confidence and maintain frame, because lots of times people fail in this area when emotions are involved. You're nervous, you're upset. If you're feeling like that, just don't go out, don't engage, because it's going to be a lot harder to control your words and control your attitudes. And it's really important. You don't have to interview a job candidate. You get to select a great person to join your team. And it's none of this. You're just trying to make connections. And if you do it wrong, what is that saying? You never get a second chance to make a first impression, right? Number 9, don't discuss the failings of others. Just recently, I talked about this. What does it say of your success if it took putting other people down? Like, what does that say for your success? You stood on the backs of others. I want to help people as I go, because then when my light shines bright, because I did it, not selfishly, but selflessly. So what am I trying to say? Okay, I understand, right? Gossip is fun to listen to, and I don't really care for it, but I know it's here in Brazil, it's really popular, and we like to hear the dirt on other people. Whatever. You do not have to be a receptacle to keep it and redistribute it. It's not necessary. Don't laugh at other people. Okay. When you do, the people around you wonder if you're sometimes laughing at them. And that's really important. Think about this. Your friends, if they're talking bad about their other friends, what are they saying about you behind your back? You see, don't be that person. Lift people up. Shine the light on them. Give them attention. Don't worry about how they think of you. Worry about yourself. Okay. And then number 10, be ready to admit your own failings. Okay. Incredibly successful people are often assumed to have charisma simply because they are successful. Their success can seem to create a halo effect, almost like a glow. The key word is seem. Okay. You don't have to be incredibly successful or extremely charismatic. Scratch the shiny surface, and many successful people have the charisma of a rock. But you don't have to be incredibly genuine to be extremely charismatic, okay? Just be humble, share your screw-ups, and in a way, people will see that you are genuine, okay? And this goes back to being yourself, right? So I'm gonna kind of wrap this up, okay? I didn't want to go past an hour. I don't mind going a little past, but I kind of want to throw out any questions that people may have. If anybody's interested in joining, I will put the link in now. I wanted to kind of go into questions. Here's the link if you guys, anybody wants to jump in. But I'm going to wrap this up. I'll stay on for a few more minutes to see if other people want to come in. So I only went through half of what I wanted to talk about today. I didn't realize I was going to go as deep as I did. But I don't regret any of the things that I've said. I really applied the things that I've taken from my own life to help you guys. I've gone through a lot in life, and I will admit I'm born kind of out as an outgoing person by nature. But a lot of my experiences has my friend Glay here sharing my motto. A lot of my experiences has helped mold the person that you see today. And what's interesting is the same as you. We are products of our environment, and we are an accumulation of our experiences and our memories. So it's important. Now, we all have to try and achieve to be better. We have to work for success, excellence. We shouldn't be satisfied, and it's really important to get out there. So the point I wanted to bring today, I wanted to give you guys these tips, these pointers on how to start conversations. And I didn't really get that much into that because to do that, you need to develop the foundation. And the foundation is confidence, belief in yourself, charisma, and charm, right? Be charming and have charisma. And the tips that I shared with you today, if you implement them, I guarantee you'll see results. It's not going to be easy, especially for you shy people. I understand, but try it. If you do, let me know. I'm going to save this video, leave a comment, and let me know if you had success or not. You can follow me on Instagram also. Communicate with me there. Instagram, I'm always trying to give you guys tips and stuff on how to say things differently, how to sound more natural. But today's idea was exactly that. I wanted to give you guys the tools, give you guys tips on developing confidence, creating charisma, and these two things will help you start conversations. So as far as the conversation part, as far as getting conversations moving, let's leave that for next week. I'm going to start doing this every Tuesday night. Okay. Every Tuesday night, I think is a good time for me to do these lives for about an hour. You're welcome for the class. My pleasure, Marty. Good seeing you. Nut shots. See if you guys want some tips on dating apps. Those of you who are single, Nut Shots does some really good breakdowns. I like his work. I'll share his link in the comments. But so that's it. So next week, when I come on with you guys next week, we will have a breakdown on conversations. Okay, I will leave that for next time. So I'll adjust the title of this video and just focus on how to develop confidence and charisma. And then if you guys can come back later, pause the video, take notes. I know I talked a lot, but everything that I had shared with you, I could speak from experience, works. But the chat, my students, you are the ones who can verify that, not myself. Me saying it for myself makes me sound conceited. But I've seen it work. And I think it'll work for you too. Okay. And with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this live stream tonight. Okay. I had a great time with you guys. I hope you did too. I encourage you guys to get out there, leave your comfort zone, practice your English, meet people, put your phone down, put away distractions, and interact. Do not allow the state to tell you to not engage. Do not allow people to tell you to submit and comply and just be in front of a screen. Hell no to that. We are a social creature and we need to socialize. Be careful. This is a real virus, but socialize, talk to people. If you want to keep distance, but talk to people. Okay. And that is what's important. And with that, guys, I'm going to end this live stream. Catch me next week. Okay. I'll be here and I'll break down conversations. I'll break down questions and I'll break down some of the do's and don'ts when it comes to making conversation. All right. And until then, remember, if you haven't subscribed, hit the notification bell. Every Tuesday, I put out a tongue twister. I hope you saw the one I put out today. I'm trying to put out quick tips during the week, some kind of quick, short videos. But that's how you can show me support. Just kind of hit that subscribe, share my content, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you again live next Tuesday. All right? I had a great time. I hope you did too. I'm Mr. Finn, and I'll catch you later. Bam!